Welcome to City Steading Healthy Living. Today I'm going to show you a neat trick that I've learned about how to use a no oil cooking method with stainless steel. Now, up till this point, I had trouble using stainless steel. I was using carbon steel, I was using cast iron, I was even using the dreaded non-stick. However, I always felt like I don't want to use non-stick, and the carbon steel never really worked exactly right. The cast iron, sometimes. Now, because we're plant-based, we also don't make eggs or things like that, so there's no cheese to burn, there's no eggs. So you might think, well, what do you really need non-stick for? Well, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of things that non-stick is great to have for, but you don't really need a non-stick pan to do it. Let me show you what I mean. Today, I'm going to be making burritos later, and in those burritos, I'm going to have some onions, red bell peppers, and some garlic. Now, I just have those things ready right here. We're going to cook these in a stainless steel pan with no oil. Now, a lot of people have been asking, why don't we use oil? Well, oil is basically just refined fat, okay? Think of it like the white sugar of the fat world. There's a lot of studies out there that say a low-fat, no-oil, whole food, plant-based diet is best for diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, and a zillion other diseases. So that is what we've adopted, and that is the way we're going forward. Anyway, let me get started on this. I'm going to turn on my burner. Now, the trick to this is heat management, and not really a temperature so much as where the pan is temperature-wise. You'll understand what I mean in a second. Here's a temperature gun. Now, I had sort of preheated this a little bit earlier just to speed things along on video. Right now, it's 126 degrees. But I want to show you what happens when I try to test that temperature. Now, when I say test that temperature, what I actually mean is I'm going to put a little bit of water into the pan. So I'm just going to get like maybe half a spoon of water and drop it in. It did nothing. It didn't even move. Okay, this pan's nowhere near hot enough. And it is at 149 degrees right now. But as we watch, see it's starting to bubble up. Let me just get that water to boil away. Dump it right back in. Why not, right? Let me let that dry for a moment. What'll happen when the pan's cold is that it'll just sit there and basically do nothing. It might bubble up a little bit eventually, but it's not really going to do what you need it to do. Now we're getting closer. As we get closer, let me show you what it does now. You hear that sizzle? That's the first step. It's getting closer to temperature, but it's not quite there yet. And yes, I do this every time I cook. It actually really works. Now I know approximately the target temperature on this particular pan, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's that way every time. Okay, we might be right there now. Let's just see. It's still sizzling. Now, in my experience, we're past the target temperature that it normally works at. So it could be the burner as well. Interesting. I've never tried it on the burner. Give it another shot. See, it's still sizzling. That means it's not hot enough yet. When it burns away real fast like that, you know it's not quite there. Let me check a temp again. All right. Let's just see what it does now. We're getting there. If you notice, there was little balls that came off of it as it hit. Let me show you again. You can't really see it yet. We're almost there. Okay, so it sat for 30 seconds. I'm going to just use my fingers this time, throw a little water in there, and you'll see something different. Do you see how those bubbles are just bouncing around? See, looks like mercury in the pan. Now, if they go into little teeny tiny bubbles instantly, that's bad. That's where it's too hot. And I'll let it heat up a little bit too much and show you that too. Let's try again. See how it went to smaller bubbles that time? Really small droplets. It's actually still pretty good, but it is getting smaller and smaller. Let me turn up the heat a bit. That one, see that? It just floats across the pan. So right now is the actual perfect optimal temperature to cook at. It's 300 degrees roughly. It's really looking good, but it's starting to go into little tiny bubbles. Now I have that tiny bubble song in my head. But they are just skittering across. What's actually happening is the water is vaporizing so fast that it's keeping almost a layer across the surface. Look at that. And it just doesn't, it doesn't really touch the pan. Now that same thing happens when the food hits the pan. See, it broke up into smaller balls. That's what we're not looking for, okay? So at that point, you just turn off the heat a little bit, let the pan cool, and bring it back up to temperature again. But check out that one ball. See, it broke up into little bitty bits. That's what we don't want. So it's a little bit warm. Let me turn this back down. And I bet you it's at like 320 degrees. All right, so we'll let that drop back down. Get a little air motion. Should work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're back up to about 300 degrees. Let me check one more time. And there we go. We got our nice big droplets. So I'm going to put the food right in, just like that. The little tiny droplets of water that were in there I'm not too concerned with. Once you get it in the pan, what I like to do is just move it around a little bit at first. What I'm trying to do is spread around any maybe little bit of oils that are in the food and water that's in that food, encouraging it to come out just a little bit so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. Now, you're seeing some brown stuff on the bottom. That's okay, don't worry about it. It's called fond, actually, and it's a good thing. I'm just breaking up the onions a little bit here. But if you notice, it's not sticking. See, they're moving. Even the garlic, I can just get there with the spoon and it moves around, no problem. That's what you want. And the smell is amazing so far. I mean, you really smell the vegetables rather than oil. It actually smells fresh and healthy. I generally give that a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Not super long. You don't want things to burn. And I do keep an eye on it. I'm watching. Now I'm going to turn my heat down. That's another thing. Once you get it to that temperature, turn your heat down by like a number, maybe a number and a half. And that'll help to maintain that temperature better. I can see some of my garlic getting a little bit of color. So what we're doing is basically dry frying, okay? Grilling, in other words. There's no oil being used, but the heat is being transferred directly into the food. Caramelization is happening, and you can see it on the bottom of that pan. See that brown? Don't even worry about it. That is not sticking, and it's not going to be there for long. Once I get a little bit of color on some of my other veg here, just like a little color, you can totally, at this point, call it pretty good. Those onions are starting to look pretty translucent. They're softening up a bit. The bell peppers are softening. Normally I would hold off on the garlic, but I just, for the sake of a video, I'm just showing you everything all at once. But if you see, nothing is sticking. Everything comes right off with the spoon. I'm not scraping. Look, I'm just letting the spoon's weight push it across. I'm not scraping at all. And everything's just coming right off. Okay, once you get to a point where you are satisfied with the brownness and caramelization that you have, it's going to continue cooking. You don't expect everything to be soft at this point. You just want a little bit of that brownness in there. Now is when you grab water, or you can use vegetable broth. I actually use vegetable broth most of the time, but water works also. And I'm just going to put in maybe 2 tablespoons. And it will steam up instantly. And this is where now we scrape around. Get all that fond off the bottom of the pan. You see all that brown that was there is coming off. Use the food to scrape around. Grab like an onion and just kind of scrape around in there. It'll all come off eventually. Whoop. We had escapee. But if you notice, this looks just like sauteed. Whoops! But if you notice, this looks just like sauteed vegetables done with oil because, well, it is sauteed vegetables. They were cooked at a very high heat with no actual fat, but it's essentially the same concept as a saute. And as you move these around, You'll get all that brown off the bottom. Don't you worry. Grab a big piece. Now, as I hear it start to sizzle again, here it's starting to kick up. If it starts to do that too much, add a little bit more water. And I mean, that much. I'm just trying to keep it a little bit moist in there, because what I did first was I grilled the vegetables, right? Or roasted them. Now I'm steaming them. And if you think about it from that perspective, I caramelized the sugars, got the outsides pretty well seared up, cooked, and now the insides are cooking. So these vegetables will still maintain a little bit of their integrity, a little bit of that crunch that you want, but they'll be soft and easily digestible and easily chewable and that sort of thing. Not that vegetables are all that hard, really, depending on how you prepare them. But you can do this to whatever level you want. At this point, to me, these are pretty well done, because I know they're going to go into burritos that are going to go into the oven as well. So to me, these are done. I'm going to turn off that heat. However, I'm going to let them sit in the pan for another minute. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. This is mostly because I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm just going to stir that around, make sure nothing's sticking. But I'm going to take this right over to the other stove and add tomatoes and all this other stuff to make the burritos with. So this is like just the start of it, okay? It's not really a recipe so much as a technique. And once you get used to doing this, then you never need to cook with oil again. And you can cut a lot of calories, a lot of fat, and a lot of problems from your diet. And thanks so much for watching. We really love hearing from you guys. If you've tried this technique, and let me know. If you have trouble doing this, ask in the comments below. I'm happy to help. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and this is just one. But, please ask away. We love hearing from you guys and trying to help if we can. And, hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, look up. There's another video up there. You might like that one too.